I thought it was a work dinner. That was my first mistake. When my boss, Evelyn Carter, texted me saying, "Come by tonight. I need help reviewing a proposal. Dinner's on me," I didn't hesitate. She was demanding, brilliant, and terrifying in the way only high-powered executives are. Saying no wasn't really an option. What she didn't mention was where the dinner was. Or who would be there. Her house looked like something out of a magazine. White stone, tall windows, soft golden lights glowing from inside. I stood on the porch, tie slightly crooked, laptop bag over my shoulder, wondering why anyone needed quarterly projections reviewed at 7 p.m. The door swung open before I could knock. "Perfect timing," Evelyn said, already pulling me inside. She was dressed differently than usual, no sharp blazer, no heels. Just a soft navy dress, hair loose around her shoulders. That should have been my second warning. "Shoes off," she whispered urgently. "And smile." "Why?" I asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she raised her voice and called into the house, "Mom, Dad, this is him." Then she turned to me, slid her hand into mine, and said the words that changed everything. "This is my boyfriend." I froze. Her parents looked at me like I was the final exam. Her father stood up slowly, tall and serious, while her mother's face lit up like she'd just won the lottery. "Oh my goodness," her mom said. "You're real." "Real?" Evelyn squeezed my hand, hard. Her smile never wavered, but her eyes silently begged me to play along. Before I could protest, her father extended a hand. "Richard Carter." I shook it. Nice to meet you, sir." Her mother rushed forward and hugged me. Hugged me. "This is wonderful," she said. We were beginning to think Evelyn was allergic to men. Evelyn laughed too loudly. "Mom." I realized then, this wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a setup. Dinner was a blur of questions. Where did we meet? How long had we been together? What did I really think of their daughter? Each time, Evelyn answered before I could, weaving a story so detailed it felt rehearsed. "We met at work," she said casually. "He impressed me on his first day." Her father raised an eyebrow. "So he works for you?" "Yes," she replied. "But I don't treat him like an employee." Her foot brushed against mine under the table. I nearly choked on my water. Somehow, between forced smiles and careful nods, I survived the meal. Her parents were kind, intimidating, but kind. They spoke about family traditions, about how Evelyn never brought anyone home. "That's why this means so much," her mother said softly. "We worried she was lonely." Evelyn looked down at her plate. That was the first crack in her armor. After dessert, her parents stepped out to take a call. The moment we were alone, I leaned toward her. "What the hell is going on?" I whispered. She exhaled, finally dropping the act. "I'm sorry." I panicked. Panicked? They flew in unexpectedly. They think my job consumes my life. They think I'm unhappy. "So you picked me?" "I needed someone they'd respect," she said quietly. "Someone decent. Someone who wouldn't make it weird." I let out a humorless laugh. "Too late." She met my eyes. "Please. Just tonight. I'll make it up to you." There was something vulnerable there. Something I'd never seen in the woman who signed my performance reviews. Against my better judgment, I nodded. When her parents returned, Evelyn stood and slipped her arm around my waist. "Dad," she said, "we were thinking of taking a walk." Outside, the night air was cool. We walked side by side in silence until she spoke again. "Thank you," she said. "I owe you." "You owe me more than overtime," I replied. She smiled. Dinner tomorrow? As my boss? No, she said. As my fake boyfriend. I stopped walking. This is becoming a habit. She looked at me, really looked at me. Only if you want it to. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then, from the porch, her mother called out, Evelyn. Don't forget what we talked about. Evelyn groaned. They want us to come back for Christmas. I laughed. Absolutely not. She tilted her head. What if I promoted you? I paused. To what? She smiled slowly. Boyfriend. Officially. I don't know when pretending stopped feeling like pretending. Maybe it was the way her hand fit in mine. Or the way her parents watched us, hopeful. Or the way Evelyn's voice softened when she said my name. All I knew was this. I came over for dinner as her employee. I left wondering if I was about to become something much more. And the scariest part? I wasn't sure I wanted to say no. Monday morning, the office felt different. Not because of deadlines or meetings, but because Evelyn Carter wouldn't look at me. She walked past my desk without her usual sharp nod. No clipped instructions. No cool authority. Just silence. That silence was louder than any boardroom argument. At 10:17 a.m., my inbox chimed. Evelyn Carter, my office. Now. I stood, heart thudding like I was about to be fired, or promoted in a way HR definitely wouldn't approve. She closed the door behind me. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she said quietly, my parents loved you. That's not comforting, I replied. She sighed and leaned against her desk, arms crossed, not defensive, just tired. They called this morning. They want to know when they'll see you again. I blinked. Again? They think we're serious. We aren't? Her eyes snapped to mine. The air changed. That's the problem, she said. They think I finally chose someone instead of my career. They think you're the reason. I swallowed. So what do you want from me? She hesitated, actually hesitated. The woman who negotiated million-dollar deals without blinking was suddenly unsure. I need this lie to last a little longer. I laughed, because if I didn't, I might do something stupid. Evelyn, you introduced me as your boyfriend to your parents. I work for you. This is a disaster waiting to happen. I know, she said softly. But I'll protect you. No office rumors. No consequences. And when this blows up? She met my gaze. Then it blows up on me. That was the second crack in her armor. We set rules. Rule 1, at work, we're strictly professional. Rule 2, around her parents, we're convincing. Rule 3, no feelings. She said the last one like she was trying to convince herself. Friday night came too fast. Her parents invited us to dinner downtown. Public, upscale, impossible to escape. When I arrived, Evelyn was already there. Black dress. Minimal makeup. The kind of elegance that didn't ask for attention but owned the room anyway. You clean up well, she said. So do you, I replied before I could stop myself. Her smile lingered a second too long. Halfway through dinner, her mother leaned forward. So, when did you know you loved her? I nearly dropped my fork. Evelyn's hand found my knee under the table. A warning. Or grounding. Or both. I took a breath. When I realized she doesn't let anyone see the real her. Evelyn went very still. Her father studied me carefully. And what do you see? I looked at her then, not my boss, not a CEO, but the woman who panicked and pulled me into a lie because she didn't want to disappoint her parents. Someone who carries everything alone, I said. Even when she shouldn't. Silence. Then her mother smiled. That's exactly her. Later, outside the restaurant, Evelyn exhaled shakily. You didn't have to say all that, she said. I meant it. She turned to me, eyes searching. That's dangerous. For a fake relationship? For us. The city lights reflected in her eyes. For a moment, I thought she might kiss me. Instead, she stepped back. We should stop. I nodded, even though my chest tightened. Probably. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it and groaned. My parents booked a weekend trip. They invited you. I laughed softly. This lie is officially out of control. She looked at me, conflicted. So is the way I feel when I'm with you. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't just pretend anymore. And walking away might hurt more than staying. Monday morning, the rumor didn't walk into the office. It ran. I knew the second I stepped off the elevator. Whispers. Paused conversations. A few looks that lingered a second too long. By the time I reached my desk, Slack was already buzzing. Is it true? You and Evelyn? Since when does the boss date employees? My stomach dropped. At 9:03 a.m., Evelyn called an emergency leadership meeting. She stood at the head of the conference table, calm and controlled as ever. If I hadn't known her, I'd have thought nothing was wrong. We're here to discuss the Henderson account, she said. But no one was listening. Halfway through, Mark from finance cleared his throat. With all due respect, Evelyn, is there a conflict of interest we should know about? The room went silent. Evelyn didn't look at me. There is no inappropriate relationship affecting company decisions, she said evenly. That word, inappropriate, hit harder than it should have. After the meeting, she pulled me into her office. She shut the door. Locked it. This is my fault, she said. My mother posted a photo. Tagged the restaurant. I exhaled sharply. So that's it? I'm office gossip now? I'll shut it down, she said immediately. HR legal. Whatever it takes. And us? I asked. She hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. By noon, HR requested a conversation. They were polite. Professional. Curious in a way that made my skin crawl. I stuck to the script. Friends. Dinner. Misunderstanding. But lies don't sit well under fluorescent lights. When I left the room, Evelyn was waiting. They warned me, she said quietly. If this continues, one of us has to go. My chest tightened. So what are you saying? Her voice dropped. I'm saying I won't let this cost you your job. It sounded like a goodbye. That night, I didn't go home. I walked. I replayed everything, the first dinner, the way her parents looked at us, the way she softened when she thought no one was watching. By the time my phone buzzed, I already knew who it was. Evelyn, come over. Please. I should have said no. I didn't. She opened the door in bare feet and an oversized sweater. No armor. No titles. I told them I'd end it, she said before I could speak. And? I can't. The words hung between us. This started as a lie, she continued. But somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling fake. I stepped closer. Then stop pretending it doesn't matter. Her breath caught. I'm scared, she admitted. I've never let anyone get close without losing control. I reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. Then let's lose it together, I said. For a second, she searched my face. Then she kissed me. Not like a boss. Not like a lie. Like a woman choosing something for herself for the first time. Later, we sat on her couch, fingers intertwined. "This complicates everything," she said softly. I smiled. "Worth it." Her phone buzzed again. She groaned. My parents confirmed the weekend trip. I laughed. "So what are we now?" She looked at me, eyes steady. "Not fake," she said. Outside, the city kept moving. Inside, something real had finally begun. We drove out of the city before sunrise. Evelyn's parents had rented a lakeside house, quiet, expensive, and impossible to escape. 3 days. 2 bedrooms. One truth waiting to come out. Neither of us said much during the drive. Her hand rested on the center console, close enough that I could feel her warmth without touching her. "You can still back out," she said finally. I glanced at her. "So can you." She didn't answer. Her parents greeted us like a married couple. Her mother hugged me tight. "I'm so glad you could make it. Evelyn never brings anyone to places like this." Her father nodded approvingly. "Rooms upstairs. You'll be comfortable." Room. Singular. Evelyn stiffened beside me. The bedroom door closed behind us. 1 bed. King-sized. Impossible to ignore. "We can tell them we're not sharing," I said. She shook her head. "They already assume." Silence stretched. Then she laughed softly, nervous. I never thought pretending would feel more real than my actual life. I set my bag down. "Then stop pretending." She looked at me, eyes conflicted. "What if this costs us everything? What if it's the first thing that's actually ours?" I replied. She didn't answer. But she didn't look away either. That night, after dinner and wine, her parents sat us down by the fireplace. "We need to ask," her mother said gently. "Are you too serious?" Evelyn's fingers tightened around mine. Her father watched closely. "Because if you are, we want to talk about the future." I felt Evelyn's breath hitch. This was it. I could lie again. Or I could finally tell the truth. Before I spoke, Evelyn did. "I'm scared," she said. "Because I've spent my whole life choosing what's safe." Her mother frowned slightly. "Evelyn. But I don't want to choose that anymore," she continued. "I want something real." She turned to me. "Even if it's messy." I squeezed her hand. "Especially if it's messy." Her parents exchanged a look. Then her father smiled. "That's the most honest thing you've said in years." Later, in the quiet of the bedroom, Evelyn sat on the edge of the bed. "If this becomes public," she said, "I might have to step down." I frowned. "You built that company." "Yes," she said. "But I don't want it to be the only thing I've ever loved." The weight of her words settled between us. "I don't want you to sacrifice everything," I said. She met my gaze. "I'm choosing." Morning came with sunlight spilling across the lake. Her mother knocked softly. "Breakfast in 10. Evelyn looked at me and smiled, calm, sure, unafraid. For the first time, she wasn't acting. Downstairs, her parents watched us with quiet understanding. No questions. No pressure. Just acceptance. On the drive back, Evelyn reached for my hand. "I'm going to tell the board," she said. "Everything." I nodded. "Whatever happens, I'm with you." She smiled, eyes shining. "Then let's stop lying, to them, to the company, to ourselves." The lake disappeared in the rearview mirror. The future waited ahead, uncertain, risky, real. And for the first time, neither of us was afraid. The boardroom was colder than usual. Glass walls. Steel chairs. Faces trained to hide judgment behind polite interest. Evelyn sat at the head of the table. I sat outside, staring at my phone, knowing this meeting would decide more than careers. It would decide us. Inside, Evelyn spoke calmly. I need to disclose a personal relationship, she said. One that began unprofessionally, but became honest. Murmurs rippled through the room. A board member leaned forward. Are you saying you violated company policy? Yes, Evelyn replied. And I take full responsibility. Another voice followed. Then you understand what this means. She nodded. If someone has to step away, it will be me. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Then the chairman spoke. You built this company from the ground up. I know, she said. But I won't build it by pretending I'm not human. Outside, my phone buzzed. Evelyn, it's over. Meet me downstairs. My heart sank. She walked into the lobby alone. No assistants. No titles. Just Evelyn. I resigned, she said simply. I searched her face. Are you okay? She smiled, soft, relieved. For the first time in years. I pulled her into a hug without thinking who might see. She rested her forehead against my chest. I was terrified. You're brave, I said. The news broke fast. Headlines. Speculation. Opinion pieces arguing whether love should ever cost power. Evelyn ignored all of it. Instead, she slept. She laughed. She cooked breakfast badly and unapologetically. And one afternoon, she looked at me and said, "What if we start something new?" I raised an eyebrow. Another company? No, she said. A life. Months later, I ran into someone from the old office. They still talk about her, he said. About what she stood for. I smiled. She finally stood for herself. One evening, as the city lights flickered on, Evelyn took my hand. You came to my house thinking it was just dinner, she said. And you changed my life, I replied. She laughed softly. I lied to my parents. And told them the truth by accident, I said. She kissed me, slow, certain, real. She once introduced me as her employee. Then as her fake boyfriend. Now she introduces me as the man she chose. And somehow, that choice changed everything.